We all know that Alex Grinch has a unique challenge ahead of him with the personnel at Oklahoma. One of the subplots of that challenge is what's going on at defensive line. In particular, what can we hope to get out of one Jalen Redman, whose name you're going to hear a lot more of. But first, I want Alex Grinch to tell you what he thinks about defensive line development. Let's get that sound now.
Well, I'm certainly excited. You talk about big speed. I mean, he falls into obviously that category, and that's about the extent of what I've seen from him. I haven't seen the football player yet, with true evaluation. So we're excited to get him out there in fall camp. By all indication, we'll be able to do that from a health standpoint. Things have checked out. So no, it's another guy to add to the mix up front, and I think he's itching to do just that. But no, there's a guy, you're going through practices, you're going through meetings, and there's this guy over there in the corner, on the side of the room don't get to spend as much time with, don't get a chance as much time to evaluate him, and not that you're cast to the side as an injured player, but you're not as involved in all the workouts and those things. So it was good this summer to get him back out with the guys. I'm sure he's itching to get back out there here when practice starts.
It's Alex Grinch talking about Jalen Redman, him being limited during the spring, being full speed through the summer, and now they're bringing him along, I'm sure, slowly as he is recovering from a very, very, very dangerous ordeal where he went to 4 different hospitals before they could figure out that he had blood clots in his lungs, which ain't nothing to play with, man. But we do know that when he was on the field last year, during his redshirt season, he was a menace. And there are fellas inside of that locker room that are really excited about what Jalen Redman could provide for this football team. And I think Neville Gallimore had the quote of the entire media day, which was, this scheme is built for guys like Jalen Redman, which means that rush end position is going to be premier. That rush end position is going to be outstanding. And it's also going to be the kind that we've become accustomed to in Mike Stoops' old scheme, where you had that jack linebacker, that Eric Striker, Obo Oronquo guy that just teared off and went and killed quarterbacks, got TFLs. I still have my own reservations about what Jalen Redman is going to be capable of doing and how much of it he's going to actually do. Because you're loaded at that position. And by loaded, I don't mean just talent. I mean you're deep. You have a lot of guys that can play that position. Not just Redman, but Mark Jackson, Ugwebu, Wete. You keep going here. You can move guys down. There are other outside linebackers that would love to be able to just stand up in a 4'9" and go kill people. But I also understand that, one, you got Jalen and his family who said we're playing football, and you've got doctors and athletic trainers who said, no, he's okay to play football. I just don't want to see anything bad happen. And I think that's everybody, right? Nobody wants to see anything bad happen. However, if you knew this as a coach, you got to feel good about it, right? And I understand that there's privacy issues about what you can say and not say if you're Lincoln Riley, but man, if you got a healthy Jalen Redman, yeah, you could be elite on the defensive line, and that's going to be tremendously helpful in a conference where if you can get to the quarterback, you're probably going to win more football games, right, Patrick?
No, and that's one thing I want to get into with Jalen real quick is, guys get hurt, whether it's a knee or something like that, and it takes time for them to get back to playing just because they have to trust it. You wonder with what he went through, what mentally, how do you – it's not like it's a knee or an elbow or a wrist or something like that's an injury. You just wonder for him, is there something mentally he has to deal with? If he's running and something feels strange, like how does he react to that? That again, he's been working through this for the year, but that's interesting aside of it. But yeah, defensive line development, getting better in the front end is something we talked about so much. But again, I think this defense will take a step forward this year. It might be small, but you just get the feel that guys feel better about themselves. And you being close to it, and again, listening to all the cuts and listening to Grinch, I feel like that there's a positive vibe defensively that will help them this year.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was the reason that Riley spoke to of relieving Mike Stoops of his duties following the Texas game. He needed a new voice in that room, which is coach speak for they don't trust him. It doesn't matter if you know football. It doesn't matter if you won a national championship. It doesn't matter if at one point you were considered the Brent Venables of your day, best defensive coordinator in college football. It doesn't matter if they don't trust you, if they don't believe you. And the more I've heard coaches talk over this summer, because I'm a junkie when it comes to hearing coaches talk ball and coaches talk coaching, not just because I want to learn something, which is my own selfish pursuit, right? I want to be better at my job. I want to know what they're thinking and why they're thinking it. But the thing that gets across is I got to have these kids buying into me first and foremost before they buy into my scheme, before they buy into us beating any opponent. If they don't believe me when I talk to them, if they don't believe that I am there for them, if they don't believe that they can come and talk to me about anything, if they don't believe that I have their best interest at heart 100% of the time, all the time, we're going to lose football games. Because the stuff that actually matters has not been taken care of. I have not earned their trust. And that's the big issue for Alex Grinch. Now, he's had 8 months to get this right. He had 8 months to try to understand what this team is and who he has at his disposal. And by the way, they've got 8 months to understand him. And that's what coaches are most dealing with, especially in these positions of extreme power where we all know what you're getting paid. And we all know that you're going to be here as long as you're winning games, and kids know that they're expendable, even more so than on any other sort of team because there's so many. The power dynamic always needs to be couched in, I love you. I love you. I want you to succeed. I want you to be better. If you don't believe me that this is a family and I'm just the head of the household, it ain't going to work. And you have so many guys to keep an eye on and so many guys to not necessarily keep focused or even keep on schedule. It's just when I go up to you and the 3 or 4 times that I'm going to go up to you over the course of a practice and tell you a thing, you got to want to buy into it. And also we do this thing with bosses where we blow out of proportion any little thing. Because if you get an exclamation point on the end of an email from your boss, you're going, oh crap, I'm in trouble. I am in trouble. And it might not even be that, right? I've done that, right? It's just we're communicating, and the communication needs to be worked because then you'll know how to receive somebody because you'll be able to read in their behavior into an exchange. Whereas in football, coaches yelling at you, as Mike tried to get across to most of us, and I didn't believe him, and the kids didn't believe him, yelling at you is me trying to make you better. Nobody gets to yell at me and then claim that it's for my benefit, all right? That's not how it works. You yell at your kid and say it's for their benefit, they're going to hate you. They're going to grow up. They're going to say that their parents suck. They're going to say that their parents were judgmental and mean, even as their parents were trying to do it the best way they know how. And the best way you know how ain't necessarily the best way for your individual kid and or player. You know, I keep hearing coaches say, like, Graham Harrell took over the job at USC. And he was saying the thing that I need to get across to not just the staff, but my players is, hey, guys, it's going to work. I swear. And it's going to work because I know you. I know how you learn. I'm learning how you learn. You're telling me, you're giving me feedback. I need you to be able to come up to me and say, hey, coach, I know you love that play, but we hate that play. That play sucks. Because coaches will have, this play worked for me at this location. Or I know that this play is just money every time I draw it up. And the kids have to have the courage and the relationship to be able to walk up to you and say, hey, stop calling that thing. We suck at it. Okay? And those are the ways that you can win games. And those are the little things, the little in-game adjustments that are going to help tremendously. And I think that's what Grinch is going to have to build with his defense if he hasn't already. And over the course of the year where they'll go through the wars together, you'll get to understand that thing. And then you'll have coaches actually talk about guys in the way that they'll be like, hey, look, I know what that kid's capable of. I trust him. I know who that is. He knows who I am.